Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Liz, and I'm your host. I'm happy to be here this week. If you listened to the podcast last week, you know that I had cataract surgery on Monday on one eye. So they're doing one eye, my right eye, and then in 2 weeks, they'll do my second eye, my left eye. You can tell by my voice, I am not old. So this was early cataracts, and they don't really know why it happened. People keep asking me that. They don't really know why early cataracts happen. Sometimes even babies are born with cataracts. But what it did allow is for me to have this early surgery, a lens replacement, to where now I will have perfect vision, which is just like a miracle to me, a miracle. I've worn glasses since I've been about in third grade. I don't really have any memories without glasses. It does feel like a miracle already. But what's happening this week is I have my right eye, which is getting better and better, and my left eye, which is on my old prescription, which is very, 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 very nearsighted. Okay. So like hold your hand about 5 inches from your face. It could go maybe 10 inches or so, and then it starts getting blurry. So it is like being in a fun house, and I've been queasy pretty much all week. Luckily, I have medication for that, so I'm able to work and do things while feeling okay, but it is not ideal. So computer work is about the hardest thing for me right now, and it takes me about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, to edit an interview that I've done. And my plan was to really air a couple of interviews in December, but that's just not going to happen. They weren't edited before the surgery because it came up unexpectedly, and there's just no way I can do that right now. So I'm going to do a couple of replays of my most popular episodes, and then I'll be back in January with some fresh episodes. So thank you so much for your patience here, and I hope you enjoy these episodes. Peace. Hi, and welcome to Hypnotize Me. This is Dr. Liz, and this is the podcast about hypnosis, transformation, and healing. Today, we're going to talk about insomnia, and then I am going to do a brief hypnosis for insomnia. I like to offer free ones about every 10 to 15 episodes, and I realized I hadn't done one for a while, so I thought I would throw one in here. So let's talk about insomnia first. I cannot even tell you how many millions of people struggle with insomnia. All right. It is a huge quote unquote problem across the world. And it is a very frequent request I get, hypnosis for insomnia. I have a fantastic program that I do in my office. It's about a 3-session program. Sometimes we go to 5 sessions, but it talks all about like sleep hygiene and shifting your focus and all these different concepts of insomnia. And it also includes hypnosis for insomnia. And it's really effective. Like, people really love it. I had someone in my office last week who hadn't slept for like 2 days and was desperate. And she slept great that night, and the following night I had seen her like 2 days later. So got to check in pretty quickly with her. It's amazingly effective, and there's no side effects. Sleep medication is one of the top prescribed things in the US, at least, but it also has risks and side effects. Almost all of them are addictive. So I remember at one point I was struggling with a long bout of insomnia. I'd asked my doctor, is there anything I can take that's not addictive? And she said, nope. I was like, okay, I don't prescribe it then, because I'm not willing to do that myself personally. Totally get how some people are willing to do that for sleep. I get it, but just personally, I wasn't willing to. So hypnosis, it has no side effects. It's not addictive. It's incredibly effective. Even for myself, there's definitely insomnia files that I listen to, Hypnosis for Insomnia files. One is from my mentor, Marty Nathan. He was interviewed in episode 18. If you want to go listen to his interview, he does a really effective Hypnosis for Insomnia. And I listen to it sometimes. It totally helps. I just honestly get lazy sometimes. I'm like laying there at night and I just don't want to like flip through my phone and put it on, right? But they're always effective when I do. I've also come to shift my focus around insomnia. And some of this was based on the book Restful, Insomnia. I'll put that in the show notes. It's an excellent, excellent book. Love her program. And I use quite a bit of her concepts in my practice when I work with people with insomnia. And it helped me shift my focus from this is awful and I'm suffering and I can't do this. I'm going to have an awful time tomorrow. How am I going to function tomorrow? That's all the thoughts that go on that are suffering, right? Like that makes it worse. And then you really can't fall asleep when all those thoughts start. So I began to shift from that into this is a peaceful time at night. I get to practice meditation. Sometimes I'll meditate up to an hour until I drift off to sleep. I get to read books. It's so nice and quiet. I can even think of it as alone time often. Like this is my alone time. So once I begin to shift into that, it took a lot of the suffering off for me. I also read a book called The Head Trip by Jeff Warren, and he's actually said he'll be on the podcast. I can't wait, but that interview is not going to be for a couple of months probably. So that also helped shift my ideas around what insomnia is. He goes way into the history of sleep and the different concepts and how it's changed over the years. That's going to be an interesting interview. But enough about all of that. Let's jump into our hypnosis for insomnia. Make sure you're not driving while you're listening to this. Okay, if you are, you can pause it and go listen to some other podcasts and come back later when you want to sleep. Okay, make sure you're not operating any heavy machinery. I don't know, doing dishes, working the washing machine. Is that considered heavy machinery? I'm not quite sure here. The one for insomnia, I'm not going to wake you up at the end. It's like it is just going to be a count and you're going to sleep through the night. It does have some suggestions in it for if you need to wake up, then you'll be able to wake up. So if a child needs you or you hear a noise or something like that, a lot of people fear that if they listen to a hypnosis for insomnia, then they won't be able to keep themselves safe. The reality of that is quite the opposite. Like, of course, you can keep yourself safe. And almost any hypnotherapist I know puts in suggestions at the end that you will be able to wake up if you need to for safety. And then once you know you're safe, you can easily drift back to sleep. So that will be in there at the end. Also remember that if you join the newsletter through my website, drlizhypnosis.com, drlizhypnosis.com, then you can get access to some free meditations and hypnosis. One of them is to reduce fear and anxiety, and everyone falls asleep to that one. Okay, I don't know what it is about it, but that's an option too for you. It's not technically for insomnia, but it is very effective. If you're having problems falling asleep, people just drift right off. So remember that's an option. There's another one on the page for emotional stability. And the third one on there is for better pregnancy. Also, pregnant women drift right off to sleep to that one. And insomnia can get really difficult during pregnancy because of all the hormonal changes. So that's an effective one as well. Remember at one point I was still teaching yoga and running my Yoga Fairy company. I was replacing the file. So I said something like, I'm going to change it slightly or something like that. And one of the women was like, oh my God, no. Like I use that every single night to go to sleep. Like, please don't change it. And I was like, okay. What I'll do is like re-record it so it sounds better. So anyway, that's an option as well if you're pregnant. And they're all free. Just join the newsletter. All right, let's get started. This is Dr. Elizabeth Bonet with your hypnosis for a restful, peaceful night. Remember that hypnosis bypasses the thinking brain, which often gets in your way, particularly at night, to speak directly to the autonomic nervous system, helping to both soothe it and activate the system so it always strives to help you feel better and healthier. You can always see more at my website, drlizhypnosis.com. if you'd like a more in-depth program. Just simply begin to relax your body. Just quickly scan the body for any areas of tension and let those areas soften. You can let your breath slow. Perhaps you've already closed your eyes, or perhaps they're open. Either way, simply open your eyes, roll them all the way up, and then close your eyes from top to bottom and put yourself into a dreamlike state. Let's notice a wave of relaxation spreading across your body. This starts above your head and spreads all the way down your body, down through the neck and shoulders, down through the chest, down through the stomach, the pelvic region, down the legs, down through your toes, and even beyond the feet. Let the jaw release, the tongue come off the roof of your mouth, and the skin around your eyes soften. And for the next few moments, you can think the word relax as you exhale, knowing with each exhalation you're going deeper into a meditative and hypnotic state. The goal here is to rest the body. So know that regardless, you're resting the body by relaxing it, by resting still wherever you're sleeping. Relaxation in itself can help a person to feel rested. It's a skill you can use to manage anxiety. And know that's by starting with the body, not the mind. You're preparing the body and the mind for sleep. A deep and profound level of sleep. You can use the relaxation to begin to shift your awareness and placing your awareness back on relaxing your body. Anytime it may drift away, until your awareness just begins to drift and drift and drift until you drift into sleep. You may be aware of many things right now, including the room temperature, sounds from the outside or others perhaps. In the past, these may have been things that distracted you, thinking that you need to fix them somehow. But now let's use this knowledge to recognize your ability to shift your awareness to any experience outside of yourself, as well as inside of yourself, including experiences you create in the mind and the body. So let's gently shift awareness from all that is outside to you, letting all of that drift into the background, and shift your awareness simply to yourself, knowing this is a time to be selfish. It's a time to focus just on yourself and this beautiful, wonderful need to sleep. Our body has things to share with the mind, as well as the mind with the body, and this is one of them. This sensation and feeling of wanting to sleep, and then being able to give in to that sensation of giving the gift of sleep to yourself. So let's use the creative part of the mind to begin to drift, dream, and float. Perhaps you can envision yourself under a beautiful sky, just floating there peacefully, perhaps on a cloud of your childhood, one that's supportive of you perfectly, one that's the exact right temperature and feels wonderful to rest on. Imagine as you rest on this beautiful cloud that you can see a single white puffy cloud gently floating by. Just notice a beautiful little cloud gently floating by. And let's imagine that all of your stress, discomfort, or concerns just float off towards the cloud and get enveloped by it. Let's imagine that you're pushing them very gently away into the cloud. And then the cloud floats off further and further away until you really can't see it at all. If another thought, worry, or stress comes up, just imagine it floating off into another cloud that's passing by, being enveloped by the cloud and floating all the way off until you can barely see it, and then you can't see it at all. You can always pick up these worries in the morning if you want to. You may not though, they may be gone. And that's perfectly fine too. As you rest here on your beautiful, comfortable cloud, any difficulties are long forgotten and just drift into the distance. And at this point, it's okay to have an awareness of deepening relaxation. You can feel yourself moving twice as deep and go all the way down into deep, deep relaxation with a perfect sense of security and comfort. Let yourself freely and lazily double the sensation of relaxation in both the body and the mind. And this feeling will bring you even further into a sleep trance. It feels so good to finally let go. And experience an even deeper level of hypnosis, relaxation, or sleep. You'll always have the ability to awaken if something needs your attention. A noise that needs to be attended to. Perhaps a child, you'll be able to easily wake up. And once everything is safe, easily fall asleep again. Just imagining yourself on the fluffy cloud, perfectly relaxed, and able to drift off to sleep. So knowing this, it's okay to let yourself go deeper and deeper into sleep. In the morning, when it's time to wake up, you'll feel wonderfully rested and refreshed, and able to face the day in front of you. However, it's not time to do that now. So know that it's perfectly okay to continue focusing your awareness inward and eventually drifting from hypnosis into deep and restful sleep. Knowing you can sleep all the way through the night. Looking forward to how that may feel. Knowing that even if you wake up here and there, you'll drift quickly back to sleep. So as I count from 10 to 1, just feel the sensation of rest in both mind and body. allowing yourself to drift off to sleep or to remain in a deep and peaceful sleep if you're already asleep. 10, 9, 8, slowly drifting into sleep. 7, 6, allowing your mind to drift slowly and peacefully to sleep. 5, 4, total comfort. 3, feeling safe. 2, how wonderful sleep is. 1, drifting to a point where awareness just simply drifts off into the distance and enjoying your sleep.